Hello guys, how are you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly and you're very welcome back to another video, a type of video that we have not done for a while, and that is talking about football and specifically football transfers. And the big breaking news from my club Chelsea is that Romelu Lukaku will be leaving the club. Only on loan back to Inter Milan, where he came from for, I think it's a 7 or somewhere between 7 to 10 million pounds or euro loan, something along those lines. The end of a saga of a transfer that will probably go down as one of the worst in, I was going to say the club's history, but it probably is the worst in the club's history. Definitely one of the worst in Premier League history, if we're being honest. I think it was around 100 million we bought Lukaku for last summer. We're thinking, we've just won the Champions League, we've brought in this fella, it's the final piece of the jigsaw really, and Chelsea are really going to go on a title charge this season. It was anything but that. Although we finished third, it wasn't the worst season in the world, but Lukaku had an absolute stinker, and you know, not scoring goals on the pitch and then talking smack about the club and how much he wanted to go back to Inter off the pitch, all contributed to an absolute shitstorm for Romelu Lukaku. Very much similar actually to Paul Pogba's return to Manchester United. He kind of wanted to come back and prove to everyone that he could make it at this club where he seemed to be destined to make it at, and he ended up just making it worse. And from a Chelsea business standpoint, it's one of the worst financial decisions we've ever made to bring in a player like Lukaku for 100 million. At the time, don't get me wrong, everyone seemed to think we had signed the man that was missing in our team. But it was a complete flop, and now we're going to ultimately end up losing a lot of money on Romelu Lukaku. So from a business standpoint, horrific transfer, one of the worst of all time. A lot of people are calling it the worst transfer of all time. If I actually sat down and had to think about it, I'd probably say it's definitely up there. But having said all that, and having said all this amount of shite about how bad Chelsea have been transfers wise over the last couple of years, you got to look at the decision to get rid of Tammy Abraham, who Chelsea could easily go off and try and sign now for 80 odd million, re-sign that is. To get rid of the likes of Fikayo Tomori and Mark Gahey, who are two of the best English centre-backs going at the minute. And just to bring in the utter shit that we did, Lukaku being one of them, Sal Niguez this season as well. And there's a long list of bad Chelsea transfers that just haven't worked over the last couple of years. Despite all of that, and all the shit that I'm giving the board for the decision to sign Lukaku and how bad it is from a business standpoint, I am fucking delighted that he's out of my club. I said it at Christmas. The only way Lukaku can start to claw back a bit of decency and claw back a bit of respect from me as a Chelsea fan, and presumably the rest of the Chelsea fan base as well, would have been to go onto the pitch and start scoring some fucking goals, do what he's supposed to be known for. And not only did he not score goals, his overall contribution to the team was absolutely horrific. A lot of it down to his lack of effort and attitude and poor application on and off the pitch. But, you know, there is a certain degree of blame that has to go to Thomas Tuchel here, but you guys know how much I love Thomas Tuchel, but I'm not afraid to criticise him when I have to. And maybe there was times when he didn't use Lukaku to his strengths. I think Lukaku wanted to play one way, Tuchel wanted to play another, and in the end it just didn't clash. But in this day and age, teams very rarely sacrifice the overall performance of the team and the overall style of the team and the philosophy of the way that manager wants to play for the sake of one player and getting the best out of one player. You look at Liverpool and Manchester City, they have flair players, they have players that are good enough to not try a leg, but fuck me, do them attacking players at Liverpool and Manchester City work their bollocks off every single fucking game. And that's a kind of philosophy that I feel like Thomas Tuchel is trying to employ in Chelsea, and Romelu Lukaku just wasn't contributing to that at all. He goes back to Inter Milan for a year. I suppose, you know, Chelsea might make a bit of money on him in a year when maybe he goes back to Serie A, maybe he bangs in 20, 25, 30 goals in Serie A and comes back and his, you know, market value has gone up. Because don't get me wrong, Romelu Lukaku's market value at the minute would have been in the fucking shitter after the year that he's after having. But maybe he comes back from Inter in a year's time and his stock is a bit higher. I still don't think there's a way back for him at Chelsea personally, unless there is a change of management, which I would rather there not be. But he comes back to Chelsea, his stock could be high. Chelsea could potentially make a bit of money back on Romelu Lukaku in a year's time when he comes back from Inter Milan. But overall, a disastrous transfer, and definitely going down as one of, if not the worst of all time. And it leaves you thinking, with a lot of changes happening in the Chelsea backroom staff. Obviously the Todd Bowley era has begun. He's taken over from Roman Abramovich. There seems to be a lot of changes. Bruce Buck has resigned. It looks like Marina Granovskaya is going to be resigning as well. So we're hearing that a lot of the transfers are going to come from Todd Bowley and Thomas Tuchel, a combination of the two, which actually I quite like. I think the manager should have a massive say in, you know, the players that come in. There's been often times in the past where Chelsea players have come in and it's been quite clear that the manager who's been in charge at the time just hasn't wanted them at the time. So that can only mean positive stuff, but it's time now for Thomas Tuchel and Todd Bowley to essentially get their fingers out of their arses and start actually making some signings, because at the minute Chelsea are just losing players to beat the band. Obviously Rudiger and Christensen both are gone, and it's looking like Azpilicueta may still go, Alonso may still go, Jorginho may go, now Lukaku is gone. There's still room for the likes of Ziyech and Pulisic to go. We're being linked with a lot of players. Jules Koundé, I mean, how many times have we been linked with him over the last year and a half? Our biggest transfer target, and the one that looks the most likely at the minute, is Raheem Sterling. I mean, I wouldn't be completely against that considering the amount of money we might be getting him for. Declan Rice, I mean, the chances of that are pretty much zero, I feel like, at this point. And it's worrying because a lot of teams are doing really well in the transfer market. Obviously Liverpool have brought in Darwin Nunez. I don't think we can ever really consider ourselves up, you know, considering a fight for the title this year. I really think that's way above us at the minute. And, you know, Man City and Liverpool are so far clear at the minute, and they're only adding to that with, as it says, Nunez going to Liverpool and Erling Haaland going to Manchester City. And there's still time for those two teams, and there's still a good chance that those two teams could add to their squads. So really the teams we have to be looking at competing with this year are the Tottenhams, the Arsenals, and Tottenham have made an exceptional start to the transfer window, signing the likes of Bissouma, Ivan Perisic, very Antonio Conte signings, and two players that could really help Tottenham push into that top three. And if I was to make an early prediction, I think Tottenham are going to finish above Chelsea, and Arsenal may well do as well with the moves they're making in the transfer market. At the minute, you know, United and Chelsea are just kind of being left in the dust as far as the top six goes. I'm saying all this, but I am delighted that Romelu Lukaku is gone. I think he would have affected the overall mood of the club if he was still there. I don't think it was ever really going to work between himself and Thomas Tuchel. He wasn't doing what Thomas Tuchel wanted him to do, and probably a little bit of vice versa as well. But it'll be interesting to see if Chelsea can replace or will replace Lukaku with a traditional number 9, because there's not many out there at the minute. Obviously Darwin Nunez, as I said, has gone to Liverpool, Haaland to City. Lewandowski is on the move, but it looks like he's going to go to Barcelona. So really there's not too many top strikers that are looking for a move this summer that you could think could come in and replace Romelu Lukaku. My solution is give Timo Werner the number 9, and maybe it might have a reverse effect. Probably won't though, let's be honest. Alright lads, that's where we're going to wrap it up. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on Lukaku's move, and also any other of the summer transfers that are happening so far this summer. I hope you guys are enjoying the content on the channel so far this summer. There's lots more to come, so make sure you are subscribed with your notifications on, and I will catch you later.